some of the sessions which started with very good pace, great initiatives, as well as to validate, because I think what really provides an opportunity is to validate what you're doing and obviously get a lot of new ideas.
In the future, you may have to manage agents, AI agents and not humans, or is it overwhelming? What are your thoughts?
I would not say, I think it goes in a phased manner. Correct. I don't think it is one day, one shot
Correct.
that, you lose all the people and then the agent comes in.
Right.
I think it's happening in the phased manner. Obviously, what I used to run a lot more bigger teams. Today, we run much more thinner teams and we do a lot more.
Hi, welcome to B2B Marketing Unboxed, brought to you by Mavens, powered by Bamboo Box and the Mainstream. I am Simran Shiwalkar, your host for today, and I have with me Ankur Gupta. He is the Vice President of Marketing at Skillsoft. Firstly, Ankur, thank you so much for joining us today and joining me as well.
It's my pleasure.
Lead with your experience first. How has it been at this event? Connecting with a lot of peers, a lot of marketers. Can you tell us a bit about B2B Marketing Unboxed?
Okay, no, absolutely. I was definitely looking forward for this event. There is very few opportunities which a marketer like me get in the B2B space to collaborate with marketers. Obviously, I attend a lot of events and those are more for where I'm on the back seat and driving those events and trying to get those leads. But I think this is a fantastic opportunity to really hear candid conversations from the fellow marketers. I have a bunch of friends, obviously, I met already. The excitement was great. I think some of the sessions which started with very good pace, great initiatives, as well as to validate, because I think what really provides an opportunity is to validate what you're doing and obviously get a lot of new ideas and new things which are happening that might be from a different industry as well. But what you can take away from.
Absolutely. And like it suggests, by marketers for marketers, having a lot of marketing leaders under one roof from different brands, different verticals, how do you see these events kind of, shaping up a platform for having that kind of dialogues, especially with marketers and, marketing leaders today? Do you think these platforms do play a huge or a significant role?
Absolutely. I think creating a community of fellow marketers is very, very important. And thank you for doing that. I think Bamboo Box and the Mainstream for building up opportunity like this for us. This, obviously, as I was mentioning, it helps in terms of, we live in a day-to-day work of, okay, we need to build brand or we need to get these opportunities or leads or things like that, right? And obviously there is a disruption which is happening in marketing department is one of the key departments where we have seen the Gen AI and now the agentic AI has been creating a lot of influence. I've been obviously coming from a learning industry. Obviously, we kind of start taking a lot of those courses. My new CMO who has joined a couple of months back, her thing was that, as a VP of marketing now, obviously you've been managing people, but I think the future is that you will be managing these AI agents. Right? And that's where I think we are going in this world today, that yes, Rajan in the morning talked about, there are things which has happened in terms of content creation, let's automate that process kind of thing. And if you are not doing those processes through Gen AI, you are actually lagging behind. But today you have to start really looking at end-to-end processes and really looking at what is the objectives that you have, because each company has its own set of objectives, right? It might be obviously a new business pipeline build, which is priority one. There's a lot of times you have to really start looking at how to grow the business, land and expand for a lot of, there is retention, there is customer advocacy, there is brand. So if you really start looking at a lot of these objectives, you have to start building up, set of, obviously not automation. Automation might be a passe word, I would say today, but these agents which kind of work together and give you a lot more efficiency.
Correct.
So I think that's where we are kind of looking at. So I'm surely looking at a lot of ideas to come in and what people are experimenting with, because we all know, I was listening a podcast this morning and while on the plane, and says 95% of the Gen AI projects are failing.
Correct.
Right? But I think it's not about those 95% failing, but it's about those 5% which will make it, right?
Correct.
And that's where we have to experiment, because if you don't fail fast, you will not be able to get what you are really looking forward for.
Rightly said so. And is it shocking that, in the future, you may have to manage agents, AI agents and not humans, or is it overwhelming? What are your thoughts?
I would not say, I think it goes in a phased manner. I don't think it is one day, one shot
Correct.
that, oh, you lose all the people and then the agent comes in.
Right.
I think it's happening in the phased manner. Obviously, what I used to run a lot more bigger teams. Today, we run much more thinner teams and we do a lot more. And it is not about just, reducing those roles, but do a lot more with those set of people.
Right.
And I think that's where we are going. Obviously, it will be much smaller teams because a lot of work will get done through the agents and those workflows. If you really look at 10 years back, a lot of social media posts for me was written by some content guy.
Right.
No longer happens for many years now, right? So I think a lot of that personalization, because there is a huge need, especially in the B2B space, of this whole personalization. And that personalization can happen through obviously these tools and agents, which are kind of identifying a lot of that content and giving very specific things. Not just from a marketing perspective, I have to create those plans. I was building on one new initiative, and believe me, if would have not been Gen AI, I would have taken 8 to 10 hours to build that Strawman plan for that initiative. It took me 2 for the first version, and maybe another 30-40 minutes for the second version. So I think that is what it is, bringing those efficiencies. But then this allows me to do a lot more other things as well.
Right.
So it is not about, I don't think it is overwhelming, but yes, you have to keep a pace with it as well. And you have to be on the edge or the cutting edge of those.
Correct.
Because I'm sure agentic AI is 2025, but 2026 something else
Something
is coming.
else would come up. Absolutely. I 100% agree on that. Lastly, Ankur, B2B landscape is evolving. Everything in marketing per se is evolving with, emerging technologies. What used to be, a couple of years back then has changed its definition completely. Any best practices or recommendations you would want to give to the next gen of marketers?
I would say, so I've been 25 years in the marketing space, and I think the first 10 years, the Philip Kotler from my MBA days worked, right? But after that, obviously there is a set of continuous transformation and upskilling which I have to do. The whole MarTech engine start coming in, right? And that's what is happening. And I think that is fast-paced with Gen AI or agentic AI or something else which will come. So you have to be on that edge today. You have to also start really looking at solving the real problems. It's not about just doing a lot of stuff, but what really matters to the organization, what is aligned to the business. And I would say a marketer has to start thinking more like a salesperson. If that marketer is not behaving like a salesperson, I think you can have your own, data showing growth, but the company GTM is not aligning well to it. So I would say make it as simple as possible. Identify what is the biggest pain area, coming obviously from the CEO to CRO to obviously your sales counterpart, and solve those problems. That is the key. And now you have to start using obviously these agents or tools or whatever.
Right. Thank you so much, Ankur, for being very candid and very comprehensive in sharing your insights with us today. But before we wrap up, I also have a couple of rapid fire questions for you.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. If you were to capture the soul of today's event in 3 words, what would that be?
Energy, excitement, and I think networking.
Nice. If not for marketing, which other career or which other domain would you be leading or dominating?
Which career? I'm still keep on thinking about it. I think what I really feel is that spending a lot of time in marketing really gives me a huge advantage in terms of, and thinking like a salesperson, to lead more of those growth functions, more of those functions which are evangelist. I play a role of evangelist for my company, speak at conferences and not just going on the backside and creating those presentations, but really. So I think evangelism is a very important area for marketers to lead with, because they not only just create that message or that brand value, but needs to get it out in everybody's head. So I think evangelism as well as leading the growth functions.
Superb. And a book or a podcast that you would recommend everybody in the marketing space to, have it in their watch list?
So I obviously watch a lot of podcasts, lot of maybe marketing, non-marketing. I think Atomic Habits. There's obviously enough things. There is a new book called Co-Intelligence, which I just read on the AI side, that how humans and the AI needs to live together. So I think those are some of the areas which you have to look at from a concept perspective, not just from a AI tool perspective, but what will the role of humans which will be played in this world, and what kind of skills you really need to play that role. Because I think we are going in a world of where the specialization roles, when you really look at, we were living in a world where the specialists were valued a lot more, right? And if you're a hardcore specialist on one thing, you obviously get valued. Today we are coming, those specialized roles will probably get done a lot more with these generative AI tools or
Correct.
agents and things like that, which means that you have to understand those human emotion, expectations, and make sure that you then manage these AI agents in today's world to get that solved.
Right.
So which means it requires a new set of skills or brush up on those human skills. So humans have to behave more human in the world of AI.
Right. And on those lines, here's another one. Any tech or a tool that you cannot imagine your life without? I think we know the answer, but let's hear it out from you.
Right now, obviously, AI agents
Yes.
is something which is on my head.
Yes.
Obviously, learning through it, making sure that, how we can get value out of it. But yes, 2025 AI agents.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you once again, Ankur, for being very candid and, giving us your insights, telling us your stories. And while we wrap up, I look forward to connect with you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot. I appreciate your time.